Just a quick video on the exhaust I bought for my 58 Dodge Coronet. I got it from Waldron's Exhaust. It was $624. Shipping was $150. Obviously your shipping will vary. $90 in options. So I got some steel clamps, steel hangers, and gaskets. And I did the mild imposter type mufflers. And I also had them ship it in one piece. You can get it where they cut these pipes in half, which I did not want. So the shipping was a little more. And I didn't get the stainless. The stainless exhaust is, just way too expensive. At least for what I'm putting it on. Because the car that it's going on is this gem right here. 58 Dodge Coronet Lancer. It's a two-door hardtop. And it needs some loving. I'm gonna go try to get a windshield for it tomorrow. And the last thing this probably needs right now is exhaust, but I don't know, I bought it on a whim. I don't know what I was thinking, but it's here. We gotta check it out and make sure it's all in good shape. So let's see if I can get these mufflers out of here. I called them and I spoke to the lady who answers the phone. I forget her name, but she said they outsource these mufflers, but they are made individually for these cars. That's a nice looking muffler. It actually looks a lot like there were two mufflers in my car when I got it. And there's one of the original mufflers, at least the NOS muffler. It says NOS. The other one says NOS at the end of the car. Very similar looking. I think the one under the car is smooth. It doesn't have the ribs. I'm not sure. But I know someone wrote NOS on it. I don't know if is that considered dented? I don't know if I care about that. That's the side that was facing out. It's definitely dented. Probably shows up good there. It's going to be under the car. And you've seen the car, so. Alright, let's open the other one. I didn't mention it. I like how they marked inlet. That was the one question I had when I put the one muffler on to get that car to the car show a couple weeks ago. I don't know if I got it right. What do you know? I actually got it right. There's the inlet side, and the outlet side's over there with no tailpipe. This one too. That's definitely a dent. Thought I saw another one in here. Right there, maybe. It's hard to see. But that's definitely a dent. There's one on the edge here too. Two on the edge. Three on the edge. So I'm seeing ding, ding, ding. And that one's obvious. I don't think I care. I mean, if this was a 1,000-point restoration, maybe I'd care. But I'm not going to hold them to anything on these. No one will ever see them. It's the sound more that's important, really. All right, let's take a look at the exhaust pipes. This should have the tailpipes, the two tailpipes, the two intermediate pipes. I forget if the turn downs from the manifolds are separate, and all the clamps and everything else. says right side tailpipe. I'll lay it all out and then we'll look at it all in one shot. I guess I'll put some gloves on. Left rear exhaust pipe. It's gotta be the right rear exhaust pipe. That's a lot of bends there. Left side tailpipe. The head pipes. Right and left. Some weird bends going on that one. Lamps, hangers, and gaskets. So when I called, I spoke to Ruth, and I told her what I was doing, what the car was, what the exhaust I wanted, and she helped me work out what I need exactly. So she said I needed 10 clamps right here and 4 steel hangers. Now, I didn't know the hangers would be different, but I'm sure they know what they're doing. These came with the nut and the bolt to hang them, and these didn't, so I'm not sure exactly where these are supposed to mount. Probably on the floor pan in the back of the car, and these might mount to something else. I don't know. There's no instructions or diagram. That's probably my only gripe with this, but they told me it would take, I forget how long. They told me I'd be lucky to get it mid to late August. It took 13 weeks, and I got it at the end of the first week of August. So I'm more than happy. You know, there were a couple dents in the mufflers. I don't know what to do with these, where they go. It might be self-evident, and if not, I mean, they answer the phone. They actually answer the phone, so I'm pleased. Here's the actual exhaust laid out. These intermediate pipes look to be a bigger diameter, but the head pipes slide into those, and then the mufflers obviously go in between. And I checked on the car, and right where the rear wheel is, where that hump is, these say tailpipes. And you know, I didn't get under the car and check, but that is the stock exhaust. So I'm psyched to have it. You know, it's here when I need it. I think I jumped the gun a little, but it's one less thing to have. I don't really like to compare that 58 to Christine. A lot of people do, but the one thing I like to compare it to is in the movie, Darnell says he buys a new windshield wipers for a busted windshield. And here I am buying, I think it cost me $800 with shipping. Brand new exhausts for a car that needs floors and a windshield. It actually does have a busted windshield. So I did a little price comparison. The exhaust on the Barracuda is Accurate. It's from Accurate Exhaust. Apparently and I didn't know this, the Barracuda has a 108-inch wheelbase and the 67 Dart has 111. This exhaust for the 67 Barracuda, if I bought it today, would be $1,762.84. Now, this is specific to a 67 Barracuda Formula S 383. The big block makes it specific because it has specific exhaust manifolds. And this tail panel is 67 Barracuda only. If you can just barely see it, but it has cutouts for the dual exhaust. And this is the only year that had turn downs on the exhaust tips. So 67 only, turn downs, cutouts. Now this car has Schumacher headers when Schumacher headers were a thing, and accurate, you can get the head pipes or the intermediate pipes, whatever you want to call them, just the little turn down things like these. You can get them for the Schumacher headers or for the factory exhaust manifolds. I got them for the headers because that's what I have. And this exhaust, it is without a doubt dead on accurate. I didn't have to do anything except bolt it in. It came with everything. It fit perfectly. I mean, those tips come out perfectly. It hooked up to the headers perfectly. Everything was just spot on. My Dart had TTI headers and TTI exhaust. The wagon has TTI headers and TTI exhaust. This has a 318 poly. The Dart has a 383 big block. And in both cases, I had to trim the intermediate pipe in between the muffler and the header. They send you pipes that are longer than you need. Apparently they say there's a variation with the B bodies. I don't know if they do it for A bodies. I've never gotten a TTI exhaust for an A body. The one thing I did notice on the wagon dual exhaust, which is different than the car dual exhaust, the wagon dual exhaust comes out the side, is the hanger, the bracket that slides into the hanger, you have to weld it on. It doesn't come pre-welded. But this is aluminized exhaust, so I didn't want to grind it down and have it rust there, so I just put a clamp on it. The passenger car dual exhaust, the bracket on the exhaust pipe comes welded to the pipe, and it's coated with the aluminum coating after it's welded. Why it's different for wagons and two-door cars, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Why they give you extra pipe, I'm not sure. Maybe there is a variation. I think between the 64 and the 62, there's a difference in the length of the cars. I think the cabin is longer in the 64. Might be the two, I'm not sure. I do know that the collectors on the 62, they send them to you and they're not even close. So I had to cut these up and weld them, make them work. And obviously I couldn't aluminize them, so they're going to rust. The ones on the wagon fit perfectly, and I know, I think 63 and 4, I know at least 64 and up, they just give you the collectors and they fit. So those of you looking for TTI exhaust, I can speak to the B bodies only. The 62, I don't know why the collector, I don't know why they can't just send it to you the way it's supposed to be. I think they do disclaim that it's probably not going to fit. You're going to have to modify it. So why send it all welded up anyway into these weird angles, I don't know. Why the passenger cars have the tailpipe bracket welded on and then aluminized and the wagons don't, I don't know the answer to that. I also looked at what Waldron had for the 67 for the price, and it was $712, and it says for 67 to 69. So that would be incorrect because 67 is indeed different than 68 and 9. 68 had, I know on the 273 Barracuda, it had a single exhaust with like a chrome tip. I'm not sure the 68 had the dual exhaust. If it did, it would have been with the big block, but I don't know off the top of my head. 62 Valiant, I just checked for the heck of it, was $418, and that's from the manifold back with the muffler, which isn't bad. On my Dart in 2022 is when I got the TTI exhaust, and it was $786.95. That was without the headers. So just a couple price comparisons. All in all, this Waldron exhaust, I'm happy with it. It's what I wanted. They were nice to deal with, and you know, I'm sure even if I call and say, hey, the mufflers are dented, they'll probably tell me to send them back in. I don't want to do that. I might call them and say, hey, you know, they're dented, here's some pictures. You know, I don't want to go through the trouble of sending them in. It's not a big concern for me, but what can you do for a 62 Valiant single exhaust? Can you give me, like 10% off or something? All right, now I have to box all this up. You might be wondering why I have implements of destruction here. It's because we're headed to the junkyard tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Gonna try to find a windshield for that Coronet. I am skeptical but hopeful. I'm pretty sure the guy has a windshield that's non-tinted. And tomorrow, to the junkyard.